So we will go ahead and get in today's first story. On the Ground News Agitator, it says explosions as Israel launches strikes on Iran. Center bias comparison is what it says here up at the top. And our bias distribution down here on the right, you can see it says 39% of the sources are center, with 29% coming from the right, 32% coming from the left. So you have a fairly equal bias distribution when it comes to this. It's a huge story. A lot of people are reporting on it. It's the biggest thing that's happening right now. 79% high factuality. And then my story comes from the Evening Standard, which says it's got a center-leaning distribution with very high factuality. I always like to sort by factuality when I look at my Ground News Agitator, just so that I know that I'm getting a good source that's going to know what's going on here. So we'll go over to this story from the Standard UK. It says, Israeli war with Iran explodes as nuclear sites targeted and Tehran hits back with a wave of drone attacks. Britain warned of dangerous moment in the Middle East. Okay, so Israel attacked Iran's capital Tehran early on Friday in strikes which targeted the country's nuclear program and raised the potential for an all-out war between the two bitter Middle East adversaries. It appeared to be the most significant attack Iran has faced since its 1980s war with Iraq. Iran had faced, with multiple sites around the country hit. The leaders of Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard was killed, Iranian state television reported. Another top guard official, as well as 2 nuclear scientists, were also feared dead. The chief of staff for the Iranian Armed Forces, General Mohammad Bagheri, was also confirmed dead by Iranian state television. Britain said the strikes were a very dangerous moment in the Middle East and called for restraint. Israeli leaders said the attack was necessary to head off what they described as an imminent threat that Iran would build nuclear bombs, as they warned of a reprisal which could target civilians in Israel. Within hours, the Israeli Air Force started intercepting some 100 drones over Saudi Arabia as Tehran hit back. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned severe punishment would be directed at Israel. Wow. He said Israel had opened its wicked and blood-stained hand to a crime in our beloved country, revealing its malicious nature more than ever by striking residential centers. In Washington, the Trump administration, which earlier cautioned Israel against an attack amid continuing negotiations, said it had not been involved in the attack and warned Iran against retaliations against U.S. interests or personnel. If we're allies with Iran, if we're allies with Israel, though, and Iran strikes against Israel, isn't that striking against U.S. interests? Like, this seems to be something that can get very convoluted very, very fast. So we definitely want to be watching it. So, multiple sites in the capital were hit, which Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said targeted both nuclear and military sites. Also targeted were officials leading Iran's nuclear program and its ballistic missiles arsenal. The assault came amid a warning from Israel that it would not permit Tehran to build nuclear weapons, although it remains unclear how close the country is to achieving that. Probably a lot less close now, I would imagine. Mr. Netanyahu said the attacks will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat from Iran. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, he added, stressing this is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. I think that Netanyahu is a clear and present danger, but that's just me, tubes. The International Atomic Energy Agency confirmed an Israeli strike hit Iran's uranium enrichment facility at Natanz and was closely monitoring radiation levels. That's not good. The attack followed increasing tensions that led the U.S. to pull some diplomats from Iraq's capital and to offer voluntary evacuations for families of U.S. troops in the wider Middle East. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Israel took unilateral action against Iran and that Israeli advised the U.S. that it believed the strikes were necessary for its self-defense. We are not involved in the strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region, Mr. Rubio said in a statement released by the White House that warned Iran against targeting U.S. interests or personnel. The attack comes as tensions have reached new heights over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said his country carried out the attack without saying what it targeted. In the wake of the state of Israel's preventative attacks against Iran, missile and drone attacks against Israel and its civilian population are expected immediately, he said in a statement. Both Iran and Israel closed their airspace. Well, that's not great. Hey, thanks for watching that clip from Nightly News this morning. I'm Cousin Matt. Please make sure to drop the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure that notifications are on, so that otherwise, how are you going to know when my videos come out, right? Anyway, thanks, take care, and we'll see you on the next one.